I guess the only advice I can really give somebody is don't panic. Don't panic and get your heart right with God. I mean, what they said was true. What they said was true. Why can't we admit it? What they said was true. So with the Mandela effect, a lot of proof that we are not on the same earth and there's just people going back in time and changing things. Because if you just had Captain Crunch, I remember Captain Crunch, not capital N Crunch, and honeycombs. I never heard of honeycomb until recently. But it was always Cracker Jacks. Lauren Hardy, he always said, "What another fine mess you got me into," and now he says, "Nice mess." So I know for a fact that that was changed. And that's pop culture, right? So how you know you're on a different planet is when you know that the islands have moved around. I'm not an expert on the islands, but I know Australia was out by itself in the ocean. I used to always think that's really weird. It looks hot over there. They have kangaroos, but they're out in the ocean by themselves. I would always think that. And now they're right next to some landmass. And then also they're saying the planets have changed sizes. That just tells you you're in a different universe altogether. And this is, the thing with the rib cage and the bones. Now you know you're in a different body too. But now there's proof that we get new bodies. We traveled through our minds. Our consciousness only traveled. Our bodies are different. So here we are in this physical place. I could touch it. It's physical. And I know for a fact, I know by myself when I'm alone, I know for a fact that I am not from here. So our conscious is the only thing that traveled. This place could be darker because the Bible has changed, and the stuff in the Bible that's changed is blaspheming God. It's a darker version of the Bible. And then CERN, their logo 666. It was 666. It don't matter. We know what they're about. So
and they make us think that that's what they're saying, but we're not paying attention because we're watching something. What? I am like fucking mind blown right now. Always willing to listen. I'm willing to hear you out. Like if you got a theory or some kind of thing that may not sound reasonable to other people, and of course if you got proof and examples and showing me, I might look into believing it. But I'm more like I need to see proof. I need to be able to see it for myself. That's just how I am. You believe what you want to believe. That's the beauty about having a mind. You can believe what you want to believe. Now, what is the Mandela effect? What happened? And I remember being 51. I don't know what the hell. Maybe that's just my brain fucked up. I don't know. That's weird. Okay. Even Chris Farley did it in the goddamn movie Tommy Boy, right? What the hell? Is it not? Am I tripping? Am I just that old and things changed and they trying to fuck with me? Are they trying to fuck with me? I don't like this.
Living my life with the Mandela effect. One of the things that I realized since waking up to this about 5 weeks ago now is the level of shock that comes with the realization and the need to find for myself, and I'm sure it's true for everybody, this ability to accept. Still, there's that level of shock and surprise and wonder and disbelief, and that human impulse to push it aside and say, no, this isn't really happening. And even if it is, what's the big deal? It hasn't changed my life. Still, it demands a level of acceptance. And the ability to come to acceptance of the changes is going to be very important, because the changes, as far as I can see, aren't going to stop. I'm expecting that sometime in the next 6 months that we're going to have a joining of another reality, so that we're going to be living with more changes, and more people will be coming to the awareness that things have changed in their reality. At some point, everyone's going to want to know why. A majority of the world is going to wake up to the changes, especially when we wind up with 3 realities in one timeline. So coming to acceptance and finding a place of peace in this truth, and not living in denial of the truth of these shifts, is going to be very important, emotionally, psychologically. But at some point, there's going to be drastic changes, undeniable, irrefutable changes in our reality. And I think that that's going to come in the 4th and final dimension of this shift, the 4th and final chapter of what I think is the harvest, and where we are completely cut off, all of us, from our understanding of our past, and we're living in a present reality, a purely present reality. And that's the process of acceptance that we have to come to in order to survive this psychologically, emotionally.
Okay, so when I reference terms like mind crime, I'm referring to a virus that has been placed on the population. What has occurred literally is a mind swipe and a memory insert of our new augmented reality. It happened to all the population. I don't know how often it occurs or when it occurs, when it occurred, if it's multiple times. The virus is around. The thing that's circumstantial about the Mandela effect, these anomalies occurring, are basically that people, certain faction of people, have immunity to this virus and have recall, and they have, at different levels, people have different levels of immunity, and can have memory, and I'm sure a lot more other things that we're not presently aware of. So I use that term, a mind crime virus. I feel that it's evident. There's big question on that. The memory inserts are when you speak to people and they know everything as the anomalies are, which people that are aware know that these changes are present in our reality. This other case of people that are under the mind crime virus will recognize things how they are currently. They will look at the anomalies as their true reality, and if you question them, they literally have no idea what you're talking about. And it's just quite funny, the whole group think about that and how it's all kind of going all together. There's many facets of the anomalies going on. The mind swipes and all that, the changes that we are finding, particularly online when we're on the interweb, whatever. Those changes are created by what I call a weak AI system. Now that system basically has one simple function. It's kind of like Duck Hunt, you know, it runs out, gets the duck, follows its command, and it brings it back to the owner. And it doesn't sway it. It's not going to go out and like get branches from a tree or pine cones or what have you. It has a certain command and it comes back. So when you get these changes in names of products or what have you, or whatever it may be, they'll all be changed now because there's this weak algorithm going out that's finding and surfacing all the information and changing it. It's kind of like a copy, alter, paste, so it keeps going in that motion. Again, it's only following one command. So for instance, I found a residual of Ed McMahon making a song about going door to door in an unmarked van collecting his checks, his big checks. And I've also found, in regards to that anomaly, an old Jerry Seinfeld comedy bit. I'm just going to focus on those two now. The reason why I was able to find the Ed McMahon one, purely based because his name was spelled incorrectly. The algorithm was not able to locate it because it only had a specific search to do. The reason this strong residual is found is because the person who posted it incorrect spelling. He spelt McMahon McMahon when it's spelled ON, and that's the reason why it didn't get found. Now that's very, very strong residual because in that commercial he's rapping about going in an unmarked van door to door and collecting his checks because the guy's broke. It's a skit, you know, it's a nice little shtick. But that's strong. The reason why I found, which is not as strong, it's a little weaker of a residual evidence, was the Jerry Seinfeld one, because there's no reference to Jerry Seinfeld in the posting. And again, they spelled Publishers Clearinghouse incorrectly. I believe they left out the apostrophe or something like that. So that was easy to find. It's easy to find residual, strong residual. I found there's other instances of finding strong actual residual. The residual in and of itself, a strong residual such as that, leads to tell me that the changes are actually occurring here. If we were, let's say, in an alternate reality or a parallel world or what have you, there would be no residual because that object or phrase or what have you would not be formatted in that. It would be way off. It would be completely different. There's other avenues and aspects you can look and, you know, argue with that. But, you know, for me, finding strong residual like that proves to me that we haven't altered in any other fashion. It's the objects in our surroundings that are changing, but we are in the same place and position. Maybe that's a more materialistic view of everything, but there's strong arguments that I have to that, and a lot of them are the popular arguments that are like going on. It's nonsensical when you start to look and see these anomalies and what is actually occurring and what's moving forward technologically. I think it's some type of super intelligence, but that's the big picture of what's going on, and I would just have to lay it out point by point to make that evidence clear. But for now, I think the most important thing that people really need to take away with this is that there has been a mind crime placed on the population. There has been a memory swipe and a memory insert to the entire population, but a certain faction of the population were immune to the virus. And these are the people that see the anomalies and know what is going on, have an idea of what's going on. We've all been noticing these strange occurrences in the world as of late, particularly with people. There's just so many different ways we can look at it, but the idea is that it's called a mind crime.
The dash between Coca and Cola on the logo, wasn't it like a hyphen right there between the two words, right in the middle? Now you look at it and the fucking hyphen is up here. It's a dash up here, not down in the middle. And that's a big one for me. That's like, what? But Fruit Loops, the word is spelled differently. This is nothing new. This is not new. I first noticed this about 10 or 15 years ago. Driving down the road on the freeway, pass by the same places every day, going into town. And this one day I look over there, and there's it's like an old shopping mall, strip mall, with some old stores there, and some of the old stores are still in operation. And there's one old store on the end that's empty. It's got for lease on it, and it's kind of dried up. Who would want to lease this place? And I go, what? That whole little strip mall wasn't there. Those glass buildings on the end, they weren't there ever. I go, what the hell? That doesn't make sense. This is, I said 10 years. It's more like 15 or 20. So, a few weeks go by, and I'm driving around the neighborhood, somewhere where I always go, and there's a big oak tree in an empty lot. Old oak tree. That oak tree was not there before. So I checked with my friend. Yeah, no, I wasn't there. And I go, okay, I know what's happening. There was a shift in realities here, and I just left it at that. It was no big deal. It was just like, whoa, shit happens. So then I got on the internet and checked it out. And over 10 years ago, it was a thing. Other people were sharing their accounts of major shifts in reality like this. Before the word was coined, Mandela effect, I noticed this going on. Andrew Bartzitz talks about a phenomenon where the advanced races in our future, they do two things: time travel, and they tweak the time track. They tweak key events on a time track to change the future, which is their past, so they can experience a better present and a better future for themselves. These advanced race of humans in the future. So that's been going on a long time. So anybody involved in one of these experiences, on one of these time tracks on Earth, if you're keen and sharp and aware, and you've got your memory intact, you've been working it at all in any way, you will notice some of the anomalies sometimes. Your memory will exceed or go beyond the memory that is established with this new reality shift. So you may remember the old reality but not the new reality's past. You may remember both. So we can shift out of here, go into other reality systems, and there's an unlimited number of alternate realities, parallel universes, and dimensions and planes and realms. They're all like dreamscapes. We've got things like what's called the Looking Glass Project, and the CERN experiments, and the Philadelphia experiment, and these are adventures in time travel or adjustments in time, tweaking. So because on some deeper level we have agreed to technology that can change time and change realities and move the entire population into a new time stream, technically it's more like you're going into the past, changing the past for everybody on this time stream, which causes an adjustment in everything. So we now, instead of having a memory, we still have the memory of the old past before the adjustment was made, but some technology has made an adjustment in our, from this perspective here, the past, and so everything from that past moment to now has been adjusted, and so we, on a grand scale, we assume and adopt the memory that of this tracking of time. So we will have two memories. Some of us will have two memories. Some of us will just have a memory of the new adjusted time stream, and some of us will only have a memory of the old time stream. Okay, and some of us will have both. Okay, so now you look back, and the Coca-Cola dash has always been up high on the Coca-Cola logo in this new reality system. In the old one, which I still have memory of, and a lot of people still have memory of, in the old past, the dash was in the middle of the emblem. And thus, with all these other weird, subtle changes. So, with all that said, it looks to me like what happened was CERN. I'm hearing stories about CERN. I've not visited CERN lately. I don't know what the guys at CERN are doing, but I've heard stories that CERN has been doing research and experiments and fucking around with our time track and reality. And they either on purpose or accidentally tweaked something. Oops, my bad. Sorry. It was, in a way, it was subtle enough to not change things dramatically, but in a way it was a big fuck up because it showed too many small effects that have changed. And now too many people are catching wise on what the hell just happened. And so now we're looking for it. We're looking, what is this all about? And there's enough of us aware of what's going on to go, you know what? I think they're fucking with the time track, man. They're fucking with reality. What'd they do? And then we look deeper and we look other places. The Philadelphia experiment, nothing new, really. It's just, this stuff goes on. It's been going on. It's like dreams, lucid dreams, out-of-body experiences. You're just in other realms. Physics is different over there. It's a no-brainer. It's simple if you're awake and aware enough to understand the possibilities. So yeah, I've had these kinds of experiences over the years. So I thought I'd just share my perspective on this whole Mandela effect from this new look, new way of looking at it. But you can also Google time travel things and government projects on this stuff. And this is nothing new. What's new is this mass effect of these small details changing for everyone, or not everyone, but for a lot of people. So this is my understanding and explanation of what is going on. The Mandela effect, it's just one more name for this phenomena that occurs